Hi, welcome to StartPHP. This is absolute beginner's guide for PHP Array. So, what is an array? Array is a list of items that is stored in a variable. In the previous videos that I've explained that when you need to use or manipulate or multiple times use data, you store it in a section of a memory referred to as a variable. So you assign a name and put that information in a variable. For example, you want to store age of someone or a telephone number or a name of person in a variable called name or telephone or age. So that age, $age, will have the value for the age of someone. Sometimes you would like to, for example, store age of multiple people, 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people in one variable, and that is an array. So array of variable of a multiple value is called array. So it's a list. I give you an example now. These values that you see here, we have one row. There is a table which has rows and multiple rows. All of these rows, each row can be element of an array. So this can be printed, or it has been printed with using array. That you see this data, you can see some kind of consistency between all of those. So we have a title with some kind of code, and then the address, telephone, and some line. If this one doesn't have the link, so that's also okay. So this can be printed one element, this is the second element, and that's the third element of an array. So it has been printed using an array. Here is another example. For example, the YouTube, each element is piece of an array. So all of these are array that has been printed. These elements, so this is one piece of an array, this is another. So each of these information have been stored in an array, and this line shows that they have divided into 4 pieces. So each item is a piece of array. So that is what array is, and now let's see how can we define and start using it. Okay, now on my machine I have already WAMP server is running, so which means I have PHP and Apache is running to serve the files to test that on my machine. So I'm getting the local machine that you can see. I have PHP 5.6.25, so that is localhost on my machine, and here is a WAMP server. I have a video that describes how you install a WAMP server on your Windows machine, the same way you can get LAMP for Linux and MAMP for Mac. So that's Windows, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. Project, I'm just going on the source, right click, new PHP file, and let's call it array tutorial, whatever, does not matter. There are many ways that you can define array. Array can be defined empty, or can be defined with items. So we can define an empty array and then add elements into it. So let's get started with the basic. Let's say you want to store age of 5 people in an array, and let's call it age. One of the way is to just say array, and that is the variable age is now array, and this array, the word array, array, will hold the values. So you can define an empty like that and later on fill it up, or you can fill up the values here. Now I'm entering, let's say 23, 21, 28, 30. So these are ages of 4 people. These are called the elements of array. So this is element 0. The count starts always with element 0, element 1, element 2, and element 3. So this has total of 4 elements starting with 0 up to 3. To add one more element, we have to determine the position of the element that we are doing, because this is already 0, 1, 2, 3. So let's say you want to add 35 here, age, and here we put square bracket and we say number 4 equal 35. So now this array has one more element. If you want to add an item at the end of array, we just type age and then put a square bracket, let's say equal 18. Now the 18 will be added at the end regardless of determining the position. Let's just type print r $age. So this will automatically print all the value for the array. So I'm going to run and run file. So here it's the element 0. So the element 0 is 23, element 1 is 21, and element 2 is 23, 28, element 3 is 30, and element 4, as you can see, is 35. So if I press Ctrl U in my browser, I will see it properly here, array and all these values, and this is on the screen in HTML because the browser doesn't know how to display it, so it just shows it in one line. And then the source code, you will see it properly, so that element 0, 1, 2, and 3. So that way we can see the values. So if you want to replace any value in an of these elements, let's say you want to change the 21 to 25, so you have to know that this is element 0, element 1. So age 1 and then equal 25. Now this says that store 25 in element number 1. So when this goes, whatever is in element number 1 will be replaced. So let me copy this line and paste it, and then print hr. Let me just type horizontal ruler and then \n. This will create new line, which I'm going to explain next. So this is printing before the change, and this changes element number 1 to 25 and then printing it and refreshing the page. So here element 0 and then element 1, initially it was 21, and after the horizontal ruler this gray is 25, so it has been replaced. The rest is the same. So this is how you can replace the array value. So we can print $age and 0. This 0, this will print 23. Let's run it. Let's just print 23. If I press Ctrl U and see the source code, nothing else, because I've not printed any HTML text or anything. The whole code, this program will print 23, which says go to the array age and print the 0. So this print means print. Same thing if you can make it 4, so it will print 35. And so forth. So that was how to assign a value, how to replace, and you saw how to print any value that you want. This is just printing each item one by one. So here, if you want to print all arrays element, one way is the for each. So we use for each. So the for each has the array name, age, and we say as item. So this is opening and this is close. This is as if, this is as if. We have some code here. So for beautification, we just go down and we put our code here. So this item now will have the value of, so this for loop will go through each element, first, second, third, and fourth, and every time it goes, this item represents one of those items in array. So this is a variable that I type. I can type anything I wish. So print $item, and then I can put here break, so you can see it. Run, and then let me refresh it, so you can see it prints 23, 21, 28, all of them at once. So for each, so we use for each loop so you can get the values. Sometimes you need to have a range of values. Let's say you want to create a list of age of people between 18 and 45 or 18 and 95, whatever you wish, and for that reason you don't have to make a long list, so you just say the start and you say the end with this keyword. So this means range from this to this, and now it will create an array, and this is a variable or array that is holding the list. So that's our array. Now I'm using the same for each loop that you can see here, and now this time instead of age I use the same array that I created. Array variable is here, and this will be the item, so it will be printed. So let me run it. So now it's running from 18 to 45. Sometimes you need to create a range of age between some value with the steps. Let's say between 18 to 90 and the increment of 5. So this means go from 18 to 90 every 5. So 18 plus 5 and plus 5 plus 5 and so forth. So let me refresh this. So that's 18 plus 5 is 23 and so forth up to 88. And now let's have a look at if you want to put a string or a text, which we call it. So the text is called string here. You have to put quotation on beginning and end. So this is a string, name of the country, and I'm creating an array of country. So this is the country list. So Peru, Chad, Japan, Canada, and Iran. All of these, they are stored in country, and now I'm using a for each loop. So for each loop goes through each, and each country name become an item, and I'm printing item here. So let's run it. So here's the name of the countries appear here. I'm going to change it the same as before, or if you want to add another country, simple country and then put the number. So let me put 6 here, and then so this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've skipped 5 and I put 6. Now let's see what happens. So because there is no item, it just goes there and print it. Another way to get the position of each item, we use you can say dollar and put a variable, let's say key, and then we put equal sign and greater than sign. This way now the position of this, which is 0, will be stored in key, and the value will be here as item. And the same thing, so as this goes through each item, so this is the key and this is the value. So if you want to print it as value, just type value. I just left it as item. So now we can print the key here. So let me print key, and then just have equal sign and then run it. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and then you can see 6. There is no item number 5, so that's why you just got the key. Okay, sometimes the array will be read from some other place or value, or from the user entry, or from somewhere that you don't know the length. Here this is easy, you can just see it and count it. Sometimes it will be too long, or you don't know it on the screen, so we use a size of, and then we put the array name here, and this will print the size of the array. So let me run it. Here it says 6, and if you just, so this will get the size of, so the keyword size of will give you the length of array. So if you use count is an alias of a size of, so these two you can be exchanged and there is no difference between. So let me just run it. So that is the size of, and that is a count. So both of this will print the length of array. Now if you wanted to delete an item from an array, you use unset, and you put the array name and the element that you want to delete. So unset will remove number 2. So this is 0, 1, 2. Japan will be removed. So I'm using the for each loop to go through this and print the value, and then after that printing a horizontal ruler, a line that we can see, and then we are deleting and item number 2, and then print this again. So let me run the code. So you can see here Peru, Chad, Japan, and Japan is gone because we used unset. So when you use unset, the item will be removed. Sometimes people use the different methods, but be careful. For example, you can say the country and then number 3. Let's say you want to do number 3 equal empty string. So you're just putting one, so you don't put anything here in between this single quote or double quote. So now let's run it. We are hoping that Canada will be removed and this will be printed. Let's see the result. You see, Canada has not been removed, so it's just empty but exists. If I use the with the key and value, here you see 0, number 1, number 3 was Canada, and it's empty. So number 3 item exists, but it's empty. So make note of that and be careful. Okay, so I have one array of countries and I have another array of fruits. So banana, apple, grapes. Sometimes you need to combine 2 arrays. So let me just print these arrays first. So that is the first array. 0 is Peru, 1 is Chad, and so forth. And then the second one, item number 0 is banana, 1 is apple, 2 is grapes. To add together or merge 2 arrays, we use array merge. So, but remember, when you use array merge, you have to be careful that you are creating a new array. So let's say I create NAR, I call it NAR, and then array underscore. You see, NetBeans is suggesting all the available features. If I type merge, you will see, so fruits, it's already suggested. If you want fruits to be first and then comma and then country, so now the new array NAR will have all the items. So it will be merged. But fruit will be first and then the countries will be the second. So let me run it. Banana, apple, grapes, and so forth. Now all of them have been merged. But if you want it the other way, so countries and then put comma, the other array. So now this time fruits will be at the end. So Peru, all the countries, and then banana, apple. If you want to reverse an array, let's say the array of country, and you want to bring the last item at the beginning and the beginning to the end, so we use array reverse, and then we put the name of array that we are reversing. So now I have stored the result in a new array called reversed, and then I'm going through for each loop to run and test it. So you see the position of all of those have been reversed. Iran, Canada at the beginning, and Peru, which was the first, now it's at the end. I have an array of these values, as you can see. If you want to sort them accordingly, so let's say it should start from 5 and then 9 and then 21, 23, 30 and 45. So this loop for each will go through and print the original one, and then I use the keyword sort. So when you use this function sort and then put the array inside this, so this will sort it, and now I'm printing it to see the result. Let's run the code. So this was the original value. You see 25, 23, 5, 21, and here this is sorted. Now let's see, we have country's name in an array of country. After that I'm running sort. So the sort also will work the same way as it did with the integer or numbers. Now let's see the result here. So Peru, and you see this was irregular, and now it's alphabetically in order. C is the first, and then I, and then P, and so forth. So we have an array here with all these countries' name. This for each loop is just printing it. After that I'm running shuffle. So when you use the function shuffle with an array name here, so this will shuffle the position of all items. Let's run it. So this is running it accordingly, and here this has been shuffled. You see Canada was here, it's here. If I refresh the page again, the shuffle will put them randomly in other different positions. So you see Ukraine is there, and then now I'm going to give you an example of printing array element as HTML table. I will do a very simple example because array is very huge and it needs hours of tutorial to cover all the possibilities and all the functions and features of array. So let's see this. Okay, so I have here a simple array. As you can see, I have a simple table here. Let me run this first. Okay, so it has first, last, and age and all these value. To print all these country name as a one item of a row of an array, so I'm just printing it here with the row. So this should be print inside that for each loop. So I'm okay, so this for each loop runs, and every time it prints table row and table detail, and then inside the table detail we're printing item, which is the one of the country name, and table beginning and end is out of the loop because it must be printed one time, not every time for each element. So let's run this. So now this is printed as a part of a table. You see here when I press Ctrl U, it gives me the source code. Each item is one element of a table row. Now let's say you have some countries and we have some values, and these value, this is just arbitrary population in million or maybe area, so I just put pop. So we're printing this with these item accordingly. So we have number of items that are here, so you can see there are 6, and also we have 6 items here. They are related to each other, and here we can put the key like as before, and then we can get the population accordingly. So this key, if I print it, you will realize what is going on here. So I just put space, and so here we just put a dot. That's called concatenation. I'm putting another dot, concatenate this. So this means print the item, print a space, and print the key. So let's run this. So it prints Piro with 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, because this is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, this is the index, I can put pop here. So dollar. This is as if I'm typing pop 0, so they get 10, pop 1 is 18, and so forth, because this is changing the key inside the pop. So this pop key is 0, pop 1, pop 2, and 3. So this is one item, and then the second item. Let's run it. So Piro, and here you see all the values corresponding to all those. The reason that you see these far apart, because we used 100%. If I use 50, you will see that it takes less space of the screen. So thank you for watching. This was a brief introduction for absolute beginners of PHP Array. We have to have a lot of other different topics for arrays to cover it, so please watch out and subscribe so you can get updates for my future videos, which I will cover multi-dimensional array as a separate video, and then there will be different application of this. So this course will continue with basics, so all elements of PHP will be covered, and then we'll go to the advanced section. Thank you very much.